Howdy. Today we're going to be going over the Notorious Plague characters for Zombicide. We're going to start by going over the contents for NPC Box 1, the contents for NPC Box 2, and some of the models that came Kickstarter. What I plan to do in this video is go over the contents of all three, then go over the rules for how you actually incorporate all that content, and then explain to you why I feel we should all have at least one NPC box. Alright, let's start by looking at the first box. So here are the contents from the first box. I no longer actually have the box to open up and show you, but I do have its contents. So in the box, you get rules, you get some spawn cards, you get some new artifacts, which is really interesting, and you get 20 NPC models. Now I have them lined up in rows of 4 because there are actually 20 models, but there's only 5 different poses. So you get 4 of each pose. Let's go ahead and start by looking at the models. This is a model that looks kind of like a dwarf in heavy armor. And he's fairly detailed, he looks pretty cool. I like the long beard. The next model we're looking at is a female with her hand back, maybe getting ready to grab at somebody or punch. And looks like she's in a long skirt. The next model we have looks like maybe a mage that has been bitten. She looks like pouches around her belt, and she's got a cape. Maybe she's an apprentice mage, and she's slowly walking toward you to bite you. The next model looks to be a jailer. He's got a key at his belt, and it looks like maybe he even has an executioner hat on. The final model is, I'm guessing, maybe a merchant. He's got a little buckler here. Maybe he's just a normal soldier. I don't know. He's got a hat, he's got a cloak, he's got some clothes, got some stuff. I really can't tell exactly what he is, but he does look pretty cool. Now let's look at the spawn cards. So we get 12 spawn cards, 3 of which have nothing in sight at the blue range, making the game a little bit easier. But after that, they grow pretty quickly. So here's one NPC, one NPC. So just a normal spawn cards, nothing too scary. 8 NPCs, that could be pretty scary. And then we get 3 artifacts. Now this is really interesting. The first artifact being a heavy crossbow, range 1 to 2, 2 dice, 4+ hit, 3 damage. You can kill abominations with this artifact without having to have any character that has bonus to damage. Just straight out the door, you can do 3 damage with this artifact. Pretty awesome. We get an orcish bow. It's similar to the orcish crossbow, but it's just not quite as good. 0, 2 dice, 3+ hit, 1 damage. 1 to 3, 2 dice, 3+ hit, 1 damage. So it's kind of like a weaker version of the orcish crossbow. The dwarven shield. The wearer gets armor rolls against abomination attacks. That's pretty awesome. If no armor, 4+. If you have equipped armor, re-roll once armor rolls made with this equipped armor. So you can re-roll if you get a fail. So if an abomination attacks you and you're wearing armor, you first roll your armor, and then if you don't like it, you re-roll. This is amazing. You can stop abominations and not be scared when they walk onto your cell. That covers the contents of the first box. Alright, let's get box 2 open. Box 2, we get another 20 models. We get 5 different poses, 4 models for each pose. So let's go ahead and look at the models that we get. The first one we get looks to be a jester. He's got a hat. You know, he's dressed up like, I think, a court jester. So he's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get him out of the way. The next one we get is a lady in a dress. I really like this guy. It's hard to see, but he's got a lute right here. So I'm guessing this is a bard that got bit. Here we get another character that's in a hood. Maybe they work for the clergy. Again, maybe they're some sort of apprentice mage. Or maybe they're just, somebody that was out on town and shopping and got bit on their trip. This last one kind of looks like a count. He's kind of in a pose, makes me think of Dracula. Alright, the next thing we get are NPC spawn cards. Let's go ahead and get them out. I think they spawn the same number of times and in the same way as the ones from the first box, but I'm not sure on that. So if that were true, we'd probably have 3 nothing in sights. Yeah, so I think they spawn in the same ways as the other box. So we get 3 nothing in sights, and then we get the rest of the cards that spawn at every level. Let's go ahead and look at the artifacts we get in this box. I'm more excited about the artifacts in this box than I am about the ones in the other box. And this is NPC box 2. Earthquake, combat spell. Roll 1 success or more with this combat spell. All actors in the target zone lose their next activation. Lay down their miniatures. It does make noise, but that's amazing. You get to knock down all actors in the zone. 0 to 1. 3 dice. So it's probably going to hit because it's 4+ and does 1 damage. So this is cool because even though it wouldn't kill an abomination, you could knock it down. So it would move 1 less in its next activation. Because some abominations activate more than once. For each King's Mace, for each friendly survivor at range 0 or 1 within line of sight, get +1 die for all melee actions resolved with this weapon. It already has 1 die. You have a dagger, you get up to 2 die. If all your buddies are with you, you could roll 7 dice when you attack. That's just crazy. It's range 0, 3+ to hit, which is also amazing, and does 2 damage. If you put this on somebody that has super strength or somebody that made their way to +1 damage, then you're doing 3 damage. You can pretty much kill anything, and you're throwing a ton of dice if you're showing off for your friends. This next one's pretty cool. It's a bang staff. Yeah, I know it's a shotgun, but I really like that they called it a bang staff instead of like a boomstick. Well, a boomstick would have been cool too, but I guess that's probably trademarked. But a bang staff is a pretty awesome name. You may re-roll all ranged attacks once with this weapon. The new result takes place of the previous one. Range 0 to 2, 2 dice, 3+, 1 damage. It's an okay ranged weapon, but it's pretty awesome that you can carry around a shotgun with one of your characters. Alright, next up we have 2 models from the Kickstarter set. So again, there's 4 of each model. The first one looks like a clergyman. See if we can get some focus in on him. So it looks like he has maybe a priest's hat, and he's got, he's got robes. He's got the cloth on. This next guy looks like a headless horseman. He's carrying around his head, which is pretty cool, so he can still see stuff. And he's got his cloak, he's got his boots. Looks pretty cool, and it's really nice to have a zombie that's carrying around a head. That's pretty awesome. Let's go over the first new rule when incorporating these components. Now I've went ahead and pulled all the artifacts. So when you start a mission, the first rule we go over is you shuffle up all your vault artifacts, and then you pull 2, and those are what goes in the vault. This makes it really interesting because you have no idea what these are. You might not be guaranteed to get Inferno or the Orcish Crossbow. Let's see what we just pulled. We pulled the Bang Staff and a shield. I mean, that's pretty cool. We didn't know what we were getting, but it brings a really fun new element to the game in the fact that you have no idea what's in the vault. Because normally how you play is you say, oh, I got Inferno, well I know the other one's the Orcish Crossbow, or vice versa. But with both boxes, well with just one box, you're at 5 artifacts. But with both boxes, you're at 8 artifacts. Which, that just brings a whole lot more enjoyment to the game not knowing what's in the vault, in my opinion. Alright, they did have a note about doing this rule. So let's say the mission requires one of the vaults, for some reason, to have the Inferno spell. What you would do is you would pull Inferno, and then the other vault artifact would be randomized. And then, of course, you would randomize which one goes in each vault. Rule 2. Walkers are standard walkers with the special NPC status. They follow the same rules as walkers, including targeting priority. NPC walkers have the same targeting priority level as walkers. Choose your targets among them. Experience points. Killing an NPC earns 1 experience point. Extra activations. NPC walkers benefit from walker extra activations. The next rule. Mix NPC walker zombie cards into the regular zombie pile and spawn NPCs using core rules. Don't choose which NPC zombies you put on the board. Take them at random. If you run out of NPC walker miniatures, replace the missing one with standard walker miniatures, which is really cool. It's not that all NPCs get an extra activation. NPCs only get extra activations when walkers get extra activations. So if you run out of this pile of 20 NPCs, well, I've already pulled some for an example we're going to do in a little bit, but if you run out of these guys, then you just pull normal walkers instead of giving extra activations. Now, one of the things my friend did in a video is he keeps all of his NPCs in a bowl. At the beginning, you shuffle them up, and then you just don't look. You go in and you grab, and this lets you get them randomly. Now, I didn't get the same models. I got a mix. Looks like I actually got 3 different models, which is pretty cool. So I use a bowl for every type of zombie I use, other than the ones that you only have one of, like your bosses, your necromancers, your abominations. So the special ones that have very few models, I don't keep them in bowls. But I like to keep my zombies in bowls just because it helps me sort them. And I'm not always digging through a pile trying to find, is there another walker out there? If my walker bowl's empty, there aren't any walkers. Now we're going to go ahead and do an example showing how this stuff works for the quest and what it means by putting a zombie on the dashboard and all that. So here I have Thrud equipped with a short sword. He's a barbarian, which means he rolls a number of dice equal to the number of zombies on his square. There are 5 zombies. So he would roll 5 dice. But he has a dagger, so he has +1 to that. So with these 5 zombies, let's go ahead and take a turn for him. He's going to get 6 dice. He killed 1. That was a pretty bad roll. But when he killed the zombie, he gets an experience point, and it goes to his dashboard. Now for his second action, he's going to attack again. Here, I killed 2 zombies. I get to choose which ones to take. I'm going to take this one and this one. So I get 2 more experience. Now for my final action, I'm going to throw 3 dice and kill 1 more zombie. I take this one. This is a model I already have. It's not going to help me on my quest. But what you have to think about, since I have 2 of this zombie, next time I have to draw zombies, my odds of getting her again are lower because she's on my dashboard. So you might choose to keep her on the dashboard. Or just to keep things simplified, you may throw her away to be like, hey, each model on my dashboard is unique. But, you know, if you go to draw NPCs and you can't draw any more NPCs because you ran out of NPCs, maybe you're like, hey, before I put my zombies on the board, let me throw this one back finally. I tend to be of the mindset, keep everything on your dashboard and throw away later. Because maybe you could double do the quest and you don't have to re-earn her. So I always wait to trade in until much later. And let's see, I believe that was my second attack. I get 1 more attack. So I would hit and kill this zombie. Now there are 5 zombies on my dashboard, but they're not unique. These 4 are unique, but this one's a double. So I have to kill a new zombie model or a new sculpt before I can turn in my quest. So let's say we move into the zombie turn and they move in on me. After they move in on me, I get to roll 4 dice. Miss. Now, take my second action. Roll 4 dice. I hit 1. I kill this guy. And now I have 5 I can trade in for an artifact. So I could go through the artifact stack and pick whatever I think would be really cool. Alright, so these would go away and go back into the bowl. Then I could go through the artifact stack and pick anything I wanted. Which, for me, for this guy, I would probably go with something really cool, like the King's Mace, assuming I had buddies on the board, because then I could get a ton of extra plus dice attacks when I'm already rolling equal to the number of zombies on my square. Then I get to add, hey, I got 5 guys near me. You might be rolling 12, 13, 14 dice, something ridiculous. Another thing to keep in mind for a rule. Let's say I had these 3 zombies, and I need this sculpt, but I don't need these. Remember, you get to pick, within a targeting priority, what you kill. So if you got this girl over here, you need her sculpt, but you don't need these 2, and you succeed in getting 1 hit, take the sculpt you need. Don't just take them at random. Take the sculpt you want, because you get to make that decision. All right, now let's finish up by talking about why I feel everyone needs at least one of these boxes. First of all, if you've played through the game several times, you're going to end up getting several activations of walkers, like where you pull walkers, you can't put them on the board, so you got to do an extra activation. Having 12 NPC cards kind of helps spread that out. You might be like, well, the game was meant to be played that way. Yes, but people who back the Kickstarter, they got some extra walkers, or some people bought 2 copies of the game so they can just put as many walkers on the board as they need to. This kind of gets you some new content and also helps separate out your walkers some, so that you're not getting lots of extra activation walkers. That's the main reason I think you should get one of these boxes. The second reason is the extra artifacts. It brings a whole lot of randomness to the game about what artifact you're going to get. It's not guaranteed what you're going to find every mission. I really like that. I also really like the quest component this brings to the game. Hey, there's this monster way on the other side of the field. Normally you would completely avoid that NPC, but you know if you kill him, you get an artifact. Now that I've kind of made my sell on why I think you should buy this game, I do want to make one recommendation. If you choose to buy both NPC boxes, only incorporate one of the set of spawn cards. 12 spawn cards looks to be like a pretty good amount, but if you incorporate both sets of spawn cards, you get 24, and they just overpopulate everything, making the game really easy because you fight so many standard walkers. You don't really see fatties very often, or wolves, or archers, or whatever you've incorporated, because you've flooded the deck with 24 extra walker cards. So, again, my recommendation is, if you get both boxes, which I would just because it gets you so many cool new artifacts, only use one of the spawn card sets, because I've tried it with a couple of test games, and it just really wasn't that enjoyable. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know. I would like to say thank you to the following supporters: